This morning, though, you got some green, right? 45 points to begin the day is what we have on the Nifty. 21,866 and 72, 170, 180 is where the Sensex is now starting at. So these are the first rates which are kicking up and coming up on our screens. The Nifty Bank is about zero. It's actually absolutely flat, 30-point change. Mid-cap index is up 0.5%, and the small-cap index it will also come up. That also sold off, by the way, towards the last 30 minutes of trade. I think there is a bit of a lift, about 0.65% gain on the Nifty small cap index. But Sonia has got more rates. She's standing by. Sonia.
Well, thanks a lot for that. Let me just start off with some of the stocks that are in focus, right? We kickstart with Eicher Motors, which is one of the big movers in the frontliners, 4% higher here. UBS has upgraded Eicher Motors to a buy from a neutral, and of course, the biggest argument here is that Eicher Motors is at a big discount in terms of valuations to its two-wheeler peer. So that's looking pretty good, 5% almost on Eicher Motors. In fact, a lot of other auto stocks, there's Maruti, there's Tata Motors that are in focus. CLSA has said that the demand for CNG vehicles is on the stocks are trending in the green. On the flip side, HUL yesterday hit a fresh 52-week low. So that stock has seen a huge underperformance. Today as well, while the market continues to move southwards, that's not a good thing for the bulls. So down almost about 4 points on HUL. Bharti Airtel, Bharti Hexacom has got the SEBI approval for an IPO, so keep an eye out on that. Aurobindo Pharma has got the US FDA nod for a nasal spray. So that one's reacting in the green, up about 1.5%. IRB Infra has received the financial closure of a project worth about 1,330 odd crores. So IRB Infra is up almost about 2 odd %. Now Jefferies has initiated a buy on Syrma SGS. So that stock is up almost about 3 odd %. Vodafone Idea is in focus as ATC Telecom will convert 1440 crore debentures into shares. So keep an eye out on that stock. AU Small Finance Bank, there is a note from Investec on AU Small Finance Bank, a buy with a target price of 570, very close to the current market price, but the stock is up almost about 1 odd %. So all in all, you'd have to say it's a decent start for the market after, a big fall that we've seen in the last few days, just stabilizing around this 21,800 mark. 21,900 actually is a bit of a resistance now for the market. So that seems to be kicking in at the moment. Back to you.
All right. Thanks a lot for that, Sonia. Well, the Nifty Bank, that holds the key according to me for today's trading session. That's actually started off a little bit flattish. It's trading only with a gain of around 80 points. So that's the one that plays out weekly expiry. So keep an eye out on that. For the time being, opened up in the green, but relatively underperforming the Nifty after yesterday's outperformance. Let's get to the stocks then. NCC up close on 4%. Big move is what we're seeing, some of the top volume movers today. Indus Stars, well, that stock is up close to 3.5%. Yesterday, in the final 90 minutes of trade, it took a sharp knock. Nimish had mentioned on D-Street Chatter as well. There's a potential that we could see a large trade take place out there. For the time being, that's not yet been announced. So the stock is popping up after correcting yesterday close to 4%. GSPL, that stock is up close to 3%. So good up move is what we're seeing on that one. On the flip side, Torrent Power is down close to 2%. We have Gujarat Gas as well. That's down close to 2% as we speak. And from the broader markets, well, you also have NALCO and NMDC. Both of them have seen a bit of a correction from the recent peak. Both those two PSU names opening up with some green. So a good start, one would have to say. Closer around the 21,900 odd mark. Remember, the resistance zone is at around this 21,900, 21,950 odd mark. But the biggest positive, Prashant, for me is the breadth of the market. The advanced decline ratio should come up for you on the screen. We have 4 stocks that are advancing. For every one stock, that's decline.
Absolutely, and let's hope it stays that way and we're able to kind of hold and sustain through the course of the session. Just a few other names, right, where there is action. Yes Bank has got 2% gains, it's got large volumes. Once again, I mean, right through open, it would be nice to see a more vibrant volume-led market. Volumes, it's just the first couple of minutes, but last 2 days, volumes have been in the broader market. I mean, they're not jumping at you with any great vigor. Indiabulls Real Estate has had such a big flip-flop, right? Just under 100 rupees, then back to 120, back to 110. Yesterday sold off 10%. Indiabulls Real Estate is coming up with large volumes with a 3% pop this morning, 112 or so. That is another name which has been on chatter. A pref issue perhaps in the next few weeks. Cochin Shipyard is up about 2%, just under 900. Cochin Shipyard did well yesterday as well. NCC is up 3.5%, 222 on NCC. Hutco did well, that's up about 1.25%. There is Sirma, which is up about 3% this morning, 487. Adani Green is coming up. I think it was about 2.5% higher, but now it's got just about 1% in gains. BEML, Engineers India Limited are some of the other 2% movers that we have with us right now. Again, I could go on with more names, but volumes are lacking. I mean, same as the situation in the way down as well. So Indigo is coming up with a 1.25% cut, 31.96 on Indigo. And we were discussing this yesterday. Oil, of course, is a headwind, but there are a few other things as well. Tata Chemicals is coming up with about a 2.25% cut. Stocks back under 1100, just under 1100 right now. And what else? Torrent Power is down about 1% or so. KEI, Aditya Birla Asset Management, that's down about 1%. There was that block yesterday, and so on and so forth. So 60-odd points is what you have on the index right now. Sonia.
By the way, just wanted to mention that Maruti is at a fresh high today. 11,830 on Maruti. That's a fresh record high for the stock. And it's an up move of almost 15% this year. So, these passenger vehicle names have really come into their own for several reasons. There's electrification of vehicles. There is CNG vehicle demand, which is picking up. Overall demand has come back. So this is one stock that I just wanted to mention.
All right. So that's, a decent mover. I mean, for a large name, a 2% pop this morning.